me show you what this bad boy can do. So I thought I'd show a little behind the scenes on some of the things I do here. And I'm not monetizing this one, so I'm gonna play whatever music I want to hear. Ha! What do you think about that? I know there's got to be an easier way to clean this gasket off this jug. I usually take a razor blade, go at an angle, get most of the gasket material off the bottom of the jug. That's what I'm working on now because I'm going to rebuild that 500 motor. Usually takes me about 20 minutes to get this done. Then I'll spray it down with a gasket remover. I just like to get most of the heavier stuff off first. This can be a chore depending how baked on your gasket is. So it can be somewhat time consuming, but get the whole surface cleaned off nice and you'll have a decent running machine. You don't get all the gasket material off, you're gonna end up with air leaks and your machine's gonna run like crap. Alright guys, so in the past I used to buy an expensive gasket remover. I use Easy Off. Not only does it clean the gasket off, that's gonna clean all that off. I spray it on for 15 minutes. Get all the crap out of there. It's gonna release everything. Get all that grease and oil off of there. The only downfall is after you clean this all off, it'll oxidize. So it's like a wire brush or a brass brush to this. Clean it up really good. Let that sit for 15 minutes. I'll show you what it looks like after I'm done. Alright guys, it's been 15 minutes later. Got this jug all cleaned up. Remember how crusty it was? How oily it was? Look at that. So, another thing you can do if you want to prevent that oxidation happening is spray a little, any kind of engine cleaner, engine degreaser, carb spray, anything to get any of that Easy Off out. Yeah, I mean, aside from that, remember what it looked like before? It was all caked with grease. Gasket came out really nice. Lifted it right off. And when I go to install this piston, I'm gonna use honing stones on the inside of the cylinder. The cylinder is actually really clean. So I'm gonna go through it again. And I'm gonna actually spray a little oil inside of the cylinder while I'm installing it in the engine. There you go guys. Took me about 20 minutes. Look at that bad boy. Alright, so that's one of the things I do behind the scenes that you guys never see. Let's see what else I can find. Forget that back completely. Access holes you can get in here. Do that on the other side. Doesn't set quite right. There we go. Get the shift linkages on after the engine was installed. I'm going to put the exhaust in. The 10mm wrench and socket. Somebody adjusted these wrong. Alright, so the low gear linkage is way off, so I'm going to adjust that. Move these bolts back, these locking nuts. And on the other side. And I'll loosen this and see which way it needs to go. Wrench. Get that back in there again. It's got to go inwards. There we go. Okay, so that lines up right. because I wasn't able to shift into high and reverse. Now I can. So that shift linkage was off a little bit, causing the high reverse range to shift really hard. So somebody must have messed with that at one time. Tighten these nuts up. That's why I say, guys, always watch out your shift linkages, because a lot of times as they get old and they wear, it would actually damage the transmission. Get that one tight, and then the other end. A lot of guys don't know this, and they think the transmission is shot. It's like the other videos I had in the past, adjusting the shift linkage. There. Shifts perfectly now. I need to get the exhaust pipe on. And of course, don't forget your donut. This is a style that just slides into the muffler. Boy. Ha, oops. I gotta put the exhaust pipe on before the shift linkages. My bad. Some places you have to put the linkages on first, then the exhaust. Some you have to do it the other way around. Let's get that in there first. Generally what I like to do is, if I can access the muffler, I'll loosen those bolts back there, slide this in. Somebody else took this apart, so I normally wouldn't do it this way. Let's get this in here first. Yeah, I think I'm gonna loosen the muffler, because this pipe will not go in. It's hitting the frame here. Loosen the muffler. So what happens when you get people taking things apart? This guy actually took it apart off the engine itself, and this whole piece came off the one. So and I have to loosen the bolts on the silencer, move that back, get everything into place. Alright, so I got the silencer loose just enough so I can wiggle this back. Got it in place, and now I'm putting springs on. I got my own little homemade tool to pull springs on. It's actually for half of a part of a tool for your rear drum brakes, which I never use anymore. Sometimes with everything loose, you can turn this up. Right in. There we go. Now you got your bolt that goes right in here. Should be a 1/2 inch. I usually do this with the plastics off, so. There we go. A little more yet. That's weird. And then I gotta tighten down the bolts for the silencer back here. And then I can put the shift linkages back on. I can put these back in place. Check this one more time. Works good. All right, just got to tighten up that silencer. The bolt slipped off. I won't bore you with that. Got my carb boot on. Just got to get the carb looked at, and up here, what's missing? The choke lever is busted off. So I got the carb laying here. I'm gonna take the bowl off, inspect that. This thing's been sitting for probably a year or two, so I'm gonna check that all out. Replace that choke cable. This bad boy should be ready to fire up. Just gotta get my oil and filter. My filter on, add the oil, good to go. Today I'm going to go through what goes on. I've had a lot of subscribers ask me, either they put a new cam in and pulls over hard, or rebuilt the engine and it's starting hard, or pull starts hard. So I'm going to go over a couple things and show you what I found. In this one, I took a bottom end, a good bottom end, and a good cylinder, put a brand new piston in, and then I reused the old head and cam. And right now I've got this issue where it's starting hard and it wants to kind of backfire out of the exhaust. So let me see if I can fire it up and show you what it does. And I'll show you the reasons why this happens. So I ended up rebuilding the carb, and we'll see what happens. So here's my theory. I might have set the float height on the carb a little too high, and it's not getting enough back gas and backfiring, or I believe the timing's off. Got her fired up. Maybe not enough fuel. still kind of backfiring a little bit. Choke it. Runs good after the rebuild. I think I need a new starter though. Adjust the idles on here. I'm also gonna turn the idle screw over here a little bit. Turn it down. It's still idling really high. I think the throttle cable might be tight. There's an idle screw on here. Still idling a little high. Let me adjust that. I'll show you guys something. Wiggle the throttle cable. Revs up. That's telling me I got a bad throttle cable. I'm turning. There we go. My auxiliary tank was resting on this cable. When I press on it, idle revs up. So I'm gonna have to replace that cable. Alright, well that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I was hoping to show you guys it pulling over hard. So originally I thought it was the carburetor, and then I was going to go to the cam. On the cam there's a decompression ball right here. I'm not focusing on that. And that likes to stick. So that's usually why it pulls over hard. So now I got a high idle I got to fix. I noticed when I did replace the carb, the guy put a cheap Chinese aftermarket carb in. And there's certain ones you got to watch out for. I don't know what this one is, but it's completely junk. I rebuilt it, it leaked. I adjusted the float height. Anything with these Chinese carbs with these cheap plastic floats in, they're usually garbage. I don't know if the floats leak or they're not set right. Yeah. I had a bunch of Chinese carbs laying around that I bought in that leak. And I have a bunch of old carbs here that need to get rebuilt. So I just stripped the parts out of there, put them in there, and built one good one. But when he replaced the carb, he ended up messing up the throttle cable. So where the throttle cable comes in right here. When he replaced it, he stretched it over and he twisted it all up. It's all boogered up. So I think I'm gonna have to replace that throttle cable. I think that's why it's idling really high. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and replace the throttle cable. I'm gonna fire this up one more time, see what it does. I was kind of hoping to show you guys what I was talking about, because when you pull it over, I don't think I'm going to do that. It pulls over really hard. I think maybe because it was a fresh rebuild, I needed to get oil into the top of the head by the cam, and now she seems to start pretty good. So what I was going to show you if this thing didn't start was, usually after a rebuild, I've said in my rebuild video, if you guys ever seen it, you know, turn the crank 3 times because you need to get the chain, the timing chain tight. The tensioner has to do its job. So if you don't do that and you put a rebuild in, it takes a little bit for the chain to tighten up by the tensioner. And sometimes you have to go back in, take the rocker cover off and reset the valve lash. Otherwise it'll be off, and that's actually what I was going to do, but I guess it fired up and I'm good to go. I just gotta do some adjustments on the carb. So you guys, I wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. This week I hit 12,000 subscribers. It's been a long journey. Once I got picked up from YouTube, everything just kind of took off. I went from 1,000 subscribers to 12,000 in probably a year and a half, which is awesome. So I just wanted to thank all you guys and for your feedback and comments, and I was glad to help you out and hope you guys keep watching. I know some of you want me to make longer videos, and I think I'm going to do that. Apparently this wasn't what I thought it was. I thought I had a bad starter. Turned out I had a bad Bendix gear. It just kept spinning. You can hear it making some weird noise. Replaced that with a brand new Bendix and got her fired up. And I'm gonna leave you with this. ...2000 Sportsman 500, fresh rebuild, runs sweet. Can't wait to ride it. All right, guys, till next time.